Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka Mono Bluetron. Now I won't be able to stream as much as I want this week, so I'm giving you this speculation video to quash the desire for content that I know you all have burning in your loins for me. As you know, I love making my deck building show, but I'm always looking for more things to talk about, and about a week ago, boy, did we get something to talk about. I'm speaking, of course, of the article released from Yu-Gi-Oh! Which says they are proud to announce the effect text of what they promise will be one of the most powerful monsters in the upcoming format. This is kind of a big deal, since the upcoming format is expected to power creep the fuck out of every existing deck. I mean, I think we were kind of lured into a false sense of security by Frogs and ABC, but mark my words, in a couple of months we'll all be sitting around table 500 thinking, God, do you remember when Bahamut Shark was a good card? Those were the days. Those were back when Yu-Gi-Oh! Was good. Anyway, since no one really expects anything but Zodiacs, Summoners, and DDD to be powerful meta strategies this February, spoiling the effect text of a card that can potentially take them down is kind of a big deal. And what was that text? Let's take a look at it. Can you bring up the effect text, please? It's a vanilla. When I first saw this, I thought I was going crazy, and apparently, so did everyone else. Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually had to release another article saying, no, they're not out of their minds, no, it really is a vanilla card, and hilariously, are you just trolling us? No. So, I mean, that begs the question, how on earth is a vanilla card going to compete with some of the most consistent archetypes ever released? So I have some ideas, but before I talk about them, I'm going to put on some light Undertale, and I'm going to quickly let you know what I hope they are not. Firstly, I hope we're not getting trolled. Now, I shouldn't have to say this, but there is a non-zero chance that we are just getting Konami'd here. I mean, maybe the card is just going to be named the most powerful monster or something. You know, that'd be fun. That'd be neat. Second is a card that is only powerful because of the support surrounding it. Master Pendulum the Draco Slayer seems like the perfect example of this type of thing, but keep in mind that we would probably know what it was if that was the case, since most of the cards in Rate are just ported over from the OCG set, and the TCG exclusives still have a wave of Spirals and Subterrors to get through. Okay, so now that we've got the boring shit out of the way, let's talk about 3 ways Konami can make vanillas great again. Ugh, that hurt to say. Am I coughing up blood? First, it's a pendulum. Now, this theory's got a couple of things going for it. There's a comparison in the second article to Metalfoes. Konami has a precedent for design space involving vanilla pendulums, and, of course, this seems like the easiest way to make a vanilla powerful. Now, there are 3 different possibilities if it is a pendulum monster, and I hate them all. First, it's got busted-ass scales. Now, for some terrible, awful people, I guess Metalfoes wasn't enough. They were unsatisfied with a 1/8 scale and require a 13-13, or even scarier, a 0-0. Now, I have a hard time believing that these wouldn't be broken, unless they couldn't be searched with painful decision. Still, they seem incredibly strong. I mean, wasn't the Zark support enough for you entitled pendulum players? Sheesh! Second, it's got 2 scales. This is something I think has always been a little cool bit of unexplored design space, having a card with a different right and left scale. I mean, there are 2 little... oh, Jesus, what do you call these? Pendulum... jewels? Arrows or something? Anyway, there's 2 of them on the card, so why not use them both? There's a Performapal that does almost the same thing, flipping between 3 and 7 based on if you do or do not activate its effect, and Abyss Actor Wild Hope almost basically has this effect, flipping your other scale to 9 while he's at 2. So, you know, I don't think putting a 3-5 into the mainstream would be too powerful. I think it's actually a pretty nice compromise. You know, a 3-5 compromise. Like a 3/5 compromise. Oh, good. We got it out of the way. Next. It has a busted-ass effect. Now, I know they said it was vanilla, but they also said Metalfoes were vanilla, and surprise, surprise, they have effects in the Pendulum Zone that matter a lot. If it ends up being this, I will be disappointed, but I will not be shocked. Seems like the most likely scenario to me. Number 2. It might have a sweet name. Now... I gotta admit, I don't really think this is going to be what happens. Still, it would be pretty funny if it did. There are 2 different possibilities I see for this, each more ridiculous than the last. The first is that it's got a good name for support. Right here, I've made a card called Gem Knight Kaiju, Draco Slayer of the Burning Abyss. I'm thinking we got Gem Knight for the Brilliant Fusion, Draco Slayer for the True Draco, Kaiju so you can't get Kaiju'd if you just normal summon it. And, hell, why don't we make it Barbar Fodder too? Is it good? No. No, definitely not. Is it fun? Also probably no. Let's move on. The other potential possibility is it has a good name for draw spells. Here we have Toon Dark Lord, the Red Eyes Destiny Hero. Allows us to Toon Table of Contents itself, send it off Ixchel, get the red cards of Stone of Legend, and you can also Destiny draw it. This is a really big reach. It would definitely not see play in anything but like really degenerate Royal Magical Library builds that can stack like 3 Allure, 3 Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars, but boy would it be funny there. Well, for one person. Your opponent probably wouldn't find it very funny. The third possibility is that it's actually just a vanilla monster. Now, this is the theory I like the best. I certainly hope there's no trickery up Konami's sleeve and that we're actually just going to get a busted-ass vanilla, but you know, I've been hyped and let down by Yu-Gi-Oh! So many times that I'm starting to develop what I think is a natural immunity. So there's 2 things I can imagine it being. The first is a 7+ star monster with high attack. Now it seems unlikely because Blue Eyes White Dragon has this legacy of being the strongest vanilla monster in the game, but I wouldn't put it past Konami to print like a 6,000 8-star called like 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons. This also relies on a concept of power that's incredibly superficial. Like, yes, technically it is a powerful monster, but who cares if the only person who ever summons it is an anime character or some kids on the playground? It's also pretty important to understand you can just set a monster in defense position and completely stonewall this guy that your opponent invested 3 cards into tribute summoning. The other option is that it's actually a good 4-star beater. So this is the one I like the most, and God, I pray every night that this is what it ends up being. To explain it, we kind of have to quantify what makes a good 4-star beater. It's way easier now than it's been in the past to be a good vanilla 4-star, especially since you make it vanilla and all of a sudden it can be searched by painful. If you make it like a warrior, it can get roted. If you make it a beast warrior, it can get tankied. Of course, the only thing you're really going to adjust is the attack. So the power creep on vanillas has been painfully slow, and it's probably because they're the most visible example of strictly better cards on Earth. But when even early sets had vanillas that were straight better than others, and when effect monsters have been so painfully power crept, I don't understand why vanillas are left in the dust. Because of this, like, 2000, 2050, 2100 are kind of like the benchmarks for big dumb beatsticks. When you can special summon a 2100 for free, and have been able to since Cyber Dragon was released in 1975, it seems a little underwhelming. Like, how much attack would you have to have in order to justify playing a 4-star monster without an effect? I say 2450. Now hear me out here. It's a Beast Warrior, so it also gains the boost from Tanky, effectively putting it at 2550. This means it's able to not only get over cards like Vanity's Fiend, Gamma Seal in attack mode, or defense position Merkabahs, but also things like Chaos Hunter, allowing us to really be able to stretch the limits of destroying our opponent's utility creatures. It also doesn't threaten the legacy of Dark Magician's 2500 7-star monster attack. I think that a 2450 vanilla would be pretty sweet sideboard tech, actually, and would certainly help out some of the less xenophobic archetypes that have issues closing out games. You just don't have to make it dark, and you've got a kind of sweet utility monster whose only utility is, attacking. Can a monster of this caliber defeat the all-powerful Zodiacs? I mean, that's kind of a hard sell, but it could help a deck that's already good at board breaking push for lethal. Who am I kidding? We're all fucked. This won't help. So those are my thoughts. I mean, to be honest, I think the pendulum outcome is the most likely by a lot, but I'll certainly spend every day until January 23rd shutting my eyes and praying for my 2450 savior. Until that day when my dreams are destroyed, I hope you'll join me in speculating. What do you think it is? Could it be something I forgot to mention? I mean, you know, probably. Let me know in the comments below if you think of something it could be. That's all from me. Now, if you want to check out some of my other videos, they should be on screen now, and if you want to follow me on Twitch or Twitter, all those links are in the description. For those of you who are subbed, I will see you tomorrow for 10-minute testing, and for those who aren't, how dare you.